Ducati boss furious with fans after Marc Marquez crash in San Marino sprint race. The San Marino MotoGP 2025 sprint race at Misano should have been a celebration for Italian motorsport. With a home crowd cheering, local heroes on track, and an intense battle for the win, the stage was set for an unforgettable race. Yet, the atmosphere turned controversial after a shocking incident involving Marc Marquez. Starting from P4, the 8-time world champion quickly demonstrated his brilliance. Marquez surged into second place and began chasing down race leader Marco Bezzecchi. The duel was electric, every corner filled with tension as Marquez closed the gap. Eventually, he made a bold and precise move to overtake Bezzecchi and take the lead. The crowd roared, some in awe, some in frustration. But just when victory seemed within reach, disaster struck. Pushing hard at the front, Marquez lost grip in a fast corner. His Ducati GP25 slid into the gravel, ending his race prematurely. Instead of concern, parts of the Misano crowd erupted into cheers and applause at Marquez's misfortune. The reaction shocked many, but none more than Davide Tardozzi, Ducati Lenovo team manager. Visibly angry, he condemned the tifosi's behavior as disrespectful and shameful. "I am furious and disappointed," Tardozzi said emotionally. Marc rides for Ducati. He risks his life for this bike, for this team, for Italy's pride. To see people celebrating his crash, it's a disgrace to the spirit of sport. Tardozzi reminded fans that MotoGP is dangerous, and every crash is a reminder of the risks riders take. Rivalries may be fierce, but respect must always remain. The sprint was eventually won by Marco Bezzecchi, with Alex Marquez finishing second and Fabio Di Giannantonio third. While Bezzecchi's win gave Italy a reason to celebrate, the tifosi's reaction left a bitter aftertaste. For Ducati, this was more than just a lost race. It was a painful reminder that true sportsmanship goes beyond victory. It requires empathy, respect, and unity. The 2025 MotoGP Catalan Grand Prix delivered a breathtaking story filled with drama, strategy, and emotions. In front of thousands of fans at the Barcelona-Catalunya circuit, Alex Marquez shocked the paddock by winning the main race, beating his own brother, Marc Marquez, who had to settle for second place. The podium was completed by Enea Bastianini from Tech 3 KTM. Marc Marquez had a lightning start from P3, immediately taking the lead and showing the aggressive style that made him a legend. But this time, something felt different. Alex quickly fought back, overtaking Marc and controlling the race with incredible precision. What surprised many fans was Marc's response. Despite having the pace to fight back, he seemed to hold himself back, riding consistently but not attacking Alex aggressively. Lap after lap, he stayed right behind his brother, without a decisive move to retake the lead. This unusual approach caught the attention of Ducati course general manager, Gigi Dall'Igna. After the race, Dall'Igna admitted he was suspicious of Marc's performance. From his perspective, Marc could have pushed harder and possibly won the race. If that had happened, the 8-time world champion might have been able to secure the 2025 MotoGP World Championship as early as Misano. However, Marc's decision to finish second leaves the title fight slightly open. According to Dall'Igna, this might be part of Marc's strategy, waiting for the right moment to seal the championship in a more dramatic fashion, maybe at MotoGP in Japan, or even at Mandalika in Indonesia, where fan support would be overwhelming. Still, Dall'Igna emphasized his respect and pride for Marc. "Even if I'm curious about his decision today, I'm proud of Marc. He knows exactly what he is doing, and his plan is always bigger than one single race." The Catalunya GP didn't just give us a winner, it gave us a story of rivalry, family, and strategy. Alex got his moment of glory. Marc showed patience and long-term thinking. And Ducati, while slightly suspicious, knows they're on the edge of another world title. Now, all eyes turn to MotoGP and MotoGP. Will Marc finally secure his crown there? The world waits. MotoGP Catalan Sprint 2025, Pedro Acosta struggles mentally after intense duel with Marc Marquez. The Catalan MotoGP Sprint Race 2025 delivered one of the most thrilling and emotional battles of the season, filled with drama, high tension, and unforgettable moments. For Pedro Acosta, the rising star of Red Bull KTM, it became a race that tested not just his speed but also his mentality. After a fierce head-to-head fight with Marc Marquez, the Spanish rookie realized how difficult it is to stand against a living legend on one of the most demanding tracks on the calendar. From the moment the lights went out, the race quickly turned into a battlefield. Starting from fifth on the grid, Acosta made an electrifying launch, climbing positions aggressively until he found himself right behind Marc Marquez. That moment ignited what many fans had been waiting for, a battle across generations. Acosta, the ambitious prodigy, against Marquez, the 8-time world champion who continues to dominate even in the twilight of his career. What followed was pure racing spectacle. Together with Fabio Quartararo on the Monster Energy Yamaha, the trio engaged in an extended fight for second place. Lap after lap, they exchanged overtakes, defended fiercely, and showcased the kind of fearless racing that MotoGP fans live for. Every corner felt like a gamble, every maneuver an explosion of risk and precision. The grandstands erupted with roars as Acosta dared to challenge Marquez wheel-to-wheel, showing no fear despite the monumental task before him. The duel reached its boiling point when Marquez made one of his signature aggressive moves. In a breathtaking maneuver, Marquez forced his way past Acosta, and slight contact occurred between the two. For Marquez, it was just another calculated risk. For Acosta, however, it became the turning point of his race. The moment of impact didn't just unsettle his rhythm, it rattled his confidence. From that lap onward, Acosta's pace began to fade. The intensity of the fight, the pressure of racing at the limit, and the psychological blow of losing out to Marquez seemed to weigh heavily on the young Spaniard. Slowly but surely, the gap between him and the leading group grew wider. The dream of fighting for a podium slipped away, and instead he had to focus on salvaging the best result possible. In the end, Acosta crossed the finish line in fourth place. Ironically, this position only came after Alex Marquez, who had been leading the race impressively, suffered a heartbreaking crash in the final laps. Without that incident, Acosta could have been pushed even further down the order. Meanwhile, Marc Marquez claimed yet another spectacular victory, proving once again that experience, resilience, and raw talent still make him the man to beat. Fabio Quartararo delivered a strong performance to finish second, and Fabio Di Giannantonio secured the final spot on the podium in third. Despite missing out on the podium, Acosta showed humility and maturity after the race. He openly admitted that Marquez was on another level and praised the Ducati rider's flawless performance. Marc was simply solid, without a single mistake, even in the toughest situations. Racing against him is something else, it teaches you how much you still have to grow, Acosta confessed, his tone a mixture of frustration and respect. The Catalan sprint race thus became more than just another round of the championship. It was a lesson in mental strength, a reminder that MotoGP is not only about speed and skill, but also about the ability to withstand psychological warfare on track. For Acosta, it was a harsh but invaluable learning curve. For Marquez, it was yet another testament to his legendary status, an icon who still knows how to break rivals not just on the stopwatch, but in their minds as well. In the paddock afterward, the emotions were palpable. Fans applauded Acosta for his courage, even as they recognized the gap that still exists between him and Marquez. At the same time, Ducati's garage exploded in celebration, proud of their champion's ability to remain untouchable under pressure. The Catalan Sprint Race 2025 will be remembered not only for the result but for the story it told, the fearless charge of a young lion, and the unshakable dominance of a king who refuses to step down from his throne. In the world of MotoGP, Marc Marquez has always been portrayed as the man who could win on any bike. His fearless style, natural talent, and dramatic victories have built a legend that fans and media repeat endlessly: give Marquez any machine, and he will win. But Aprilia Racing CEO, Massimo Rivola, is not buying into that story. In a recent interview with journalists, Rivola made a bold statement that shook the paddock. "I don't think Marc Marquez can become world champion with Aprilia," Rivola said confidently. "I would even bet on it. In my experience, only a few Spanish riders are truly able to develop a bike. And Marc is not one of them." The words carried weight, not just because of who said them, but because they touched a nerve in MotoGP's current narrative. Rivola openly questioned the myth that Marquez is a rider capable of winning no matter what bike he rides. With a calm smile, Rivola continued his sharp commentary: "Have people forgotten Honda used to dominate? But when Dani Pedrosa retired, the responsibility of development fell to Marc. And what happened? Honda fell behind. So when I hear people say Marc could win with any bike, I call it nonsense, just hype created by the media and his fans." The statement struck hard. For years, Marquez was celebrated as the man carrying Honda on his shoulders. Even when the bike was unstable, he managed to push it to victory. But Rivola's point was clear: Marquez's wins may have been extraordinary, yet they did not translate into a better machine for the future. Honda, once untouchable, is now struggling at the back. This is where Rivola's philosophy comes into play. Under his leadership, Aprilia has been focused on team growth, long-term technical development, and collective progress, not on depending on a single superstar. His words reflect a deeper belief: MotoGP championships are not won by riders alone, but by synergy between engineers, mechanics, and riders who can guide development. The emotional edge in Rivola's comments cannot be ignored. He smiled as he delivered his critique, but behind that smile was a direct challenge to the cult of personality surrounding Marquez. In essence, he was saying, skill alone is not enough. Without the ability to evolve the machine, even the most talented rider will hit a wall. Fans, of course, will disagree. To millions, Marquez remains a phenomenon, an 8-time world champion, a fighter who redefines the limits of the sport. Yet Rivola's words bring balance to the debate. They remind everyone that MotoGP is not only about heroics on Sundays, but also about invisible work in factories, wind tunnels, and endless test sessions. Whether or not one agrees with him, Rivola's statement ensures one thing: the conversation about Marquez, Aprilia, and the future of MotoGP will only get louder. Marc Marquez and the Ducati GP25, a season of total domination. The 2025 MotoGP season will be remembered as one of the most extraordinary campaigns in modern racing history. At the center of it all stands Marc Marquez, who, in his very first year as a Ducati factory rider, has rewritten the script of domination. After the crucial test at Aragon, Ducati's GP25 transformed into a war machine, fast, stable, and nearly unbeatable. This weekend, MotoGP returns to Barcelona before moving to Misano Adriatico, Ducati's home Grand Prix. Remarkably, Marquez already has the mathematical chance to secure the World Championship title at San Marino, far earlier than anyone expected. For Marquez and Borgo Panigale, this year has been nothing short of perfection. Despite leading the standings by an enormous margin, Marquez has never slowed down. Just a few days ago, instead of resting, he trained on dirt tracks in Alcaraz, 80 kilometers from his hometown Cervera. Riding Ducati's modified Desmo 450 MX for flat track, he was joined by his brother Alex, and two rising stars, David Alonso, the 19-year-old Colombian talent from Aspar team, and Brazil's Diogo Moreira, who is set to make his MotoGP debut in 2026 with Lucio Sacchinello's LCR Honda squad. Beyond competition, this gathering showed Marquez's passion for both racing and mentoring the next generation. Yet when it comes to the MotoGP grid, 2025 has been his stage alone. After a double victory at Balaton Park, his 7th consecutive win, Marquez openly reflected on his dominance. With a massive lead of 175 points, his only true rival now seems to be himself. "I don't care who is in front between me and the checkered flag," said Marquez with absolute focus. "In the first part of the season, I fought mostly against Alex and Pecco Bagnaia. We were constantly finishing first and second, even though a few mistakes cost us important points. Those mistakes refer to the crash at Austin, where Bagnaia claimed victory, and the race at Jerez, where Alex Marquez took the win. But apart from these rare incidents, Marc has been untouchable. As the season progressed, new challengers appeared, Marco Bezzecchi on Aprilia and Pedro Acosta on KTM. Still, they remain far behind. In sprint races, Marquez's dominance is staggering. Out of 14 sprints, he has won 13 and finished on the podium in the other. Normal? Even in my wildest dreams, this is not normal. My dream was to fight for the championship, to get closer to the best, and to fight until the end. But this season is beyond anything I expected," he admitted. This streak reminds him of the golden year 2019, when he almost always finished first or second. "That year was special. I was always in front, with rivals changing from race to race. Sometimes I lost, but consistency was the key to the championship," Marquez recalled. The secret behind his 2025 dominance is not just talent, but relentless work and Ducati's evolution. "The Aragon test proved decisive. Yes, we improved the setup after Aragon. The new aerodynamics are much more effective, and the bike's geometry is now aligned with the other Ducati riders. Early in the season, the GP25 felt wild, unpredictable. But now, it's far easier to handle," said the 93 rider. Marquez's words echo a truth many feared: when pure talent meets engineering excellence, the result is complete supremacy. The GP25 is the perfect machine, and Marc Marquez has brought it to life with brilliance. The story of 2025 may already be written. This is the year Marquez and Ducati crushed the competition, leaving rivals chasing shadows.